thing that's important that a lot of people don't realize, and it frustrated the heck out of me, was trying to find somewhere that was a good resource for automotive information when you're working on your car. You know, I mean, you can sign up for All Data. It's expensive. If you're only the do-it-yourself or doing it once in a while, you can get a Chilton's manual. But for new cars nowadays, there's like no such thing as a Chilton's manual. My car's a 2015 that I drive daily, and I can't find anything, mainly because of all the electronics. But for a car like this, it's a 2003. I could spend 20 bucks and get a Chilton's manual, but there's an alternative. So what you need to check out is your local library. I live out in Ypsilanti, which is in Michigan, and you can go to our library's webpage. You get a library card, you go to research, you could scroll down, and there is an automotive repair source. I don't know if every library has this. It's not always 100% accurate. I've had some things where it's been a little goofy, but it's way better than nothing. And you can pick your year, make, model, engine, and there's all sorts of useful information in here. How to do the timing belt, engine procedures. I use it for looking up torque specs and all sorts of things. So one thing my wife wanted to do was upgrade our pans and get some new ones. If your wife decides that she wants to do the same thing, don't get rid of them. They come in handy. That way you can take an old pan, and then you're able to put things in them, and or muffin trays for bolts. That stuff doesn't have to go to waste. Or you can also run it. Pretty sure they have most of this stuff at like the Dollar Tree that you can get and actually just use temporarily. So let's see how the some scoring in there, but nothing crazy. Put that down, and take out our camshaft. Clean that all up. And we'll put a new seal on it. Okay, so after I turned off last time, I've done a little bit of work trying to just kind of stay focused and not worry about videotaping as much. But here's that breather box that we took off, the crank casement valve. This is like the only car that had this style on there was a 2002, 2003 Saturn VUE. And there's a post that stuck up here, pushed it down, it made like a little rivet. So I tried fixing the rubber gasket down here on the bottom, but it wouldn't go. So I ended up drilling the rivet they made out. So then I threaded it, and I'm going to be able to just run a sheet metal screw down in there, and 1/4 by 20, and then I'll do a little RTV around here, and that'll allow us to seal this back up. But with it off, the nice thing is that now I have the ability to actually put a bolt through on the inside to the outside, actually tighten it up so that when we make the gasket that goes here, it actually fits. And you can see right in there that the gasket covers that little hole. Alright, so you can see what I did here. Put the nut on this side with a washer, if I can get the camera to focus. Yeah. And then another washer with the actual bolt itself. Then we have the little flappy doodle, which, yeah, flappy doodle is a technical term, but it allows us to open and close that, which will hopefully do what it's supposed to do, considering it wasn't doing much before. So now I'll put a little RTV on this, and we're going to close it up. Alright, so here's the cover, and I'm going to use just some ultra gray gasket maker. Get this at pretty much any hardware store or any parts store, and we're just going to lay a small bead of this all the way around, nice and even. The rest of that has a little bit of a recess to it, so I don't know that it's supposed to be sealed up because it's not flush with everything, so we're not going to put any gasket maker on those channels, and those channels correspond to the weird maze that this is, because this hose runs up to the intake and actually to the throttle body itself, and then this one actually I believe also runs up to the throttle body on the back side of the motor. So it's really just a weird system. I'm not sure why they thought that that was a good idea, but somebody got a corner office and then really quickly lost it. So we'll put this on, tighten it up, and let it sit. So I put the cover on. Just going to tighten down the screw. Just trying to make sure everything's lined up properly. Goes on. I'm really just looking to make sure everything's even, top, sides, bottom. I'm just going to apply a little bit of torque. You can see that the gasket maker squeezed out a little bit, kind of evenly everywhere, and we're going to let it go. We're going to let it sit. The only thing I think I might have to do, depending on clearance, because if you look, you can see that this bulges out a little bit, is depending on how close that is to the cylinder head, I might have to grind that down. And if I do, I'm okay with that. That's not the end of the earth for me, but it's got plenty of torque on it right now, so if I have to grind that cylinder head or that little head off of that bolt screw, it's not going to matter. So we're going to let that sit, and we'll also end up having to use gasket maker along here when we go to put it on, but I'm going to put the cylinder head on first and then put this on next. That way I don't put this on and then I'm trying to struggle with the cylinder head up against it and realizing that I don't have a clearance issue. I'd rather be dealing with this. So we'll let this sit and dry and move on to the next step. Alright, so we have our cylinder head gasket right here. I'm going to put it down over the dowels that guide it on. McDowells.
See, they're McDonald's. I'm McDowell's.
Anywho, and we're going to put the cylinder head on. I think we're pretty much ready to go with that one. Hopefully it goes into the exhaust manifold, goes into the downpipe without an issue, and all the holes have been blown out. I've used compressed air to clean out all the bolt holes, so we're like ready to go. Hang on. Now we'll go grab the bolts and start running those down a little bit. Alright, here's the real moment of do or die, because we don't have much of an option. We have to go ahead and start torquing this down. Now, they don't say that it's any different from one cylinder head to the other, so I'm going to treat this as though it's essentially, we're going to make number one, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8. And that's the torque sequence I'm going to go in. We forget anything? Speak up now. No? Okay. Okay, so we've done one sequence of 90. We still have 1, 2 more, and then we do a 15-degree sequence. Alright, so I'm going to put the oil separator on that we fixed, cleaned up. Had a little fun with the cleaning wheels there, the little roll locks. So and I did check that. It's plenty of clearance, so we're good there. So we're going to set it down, gently torque the bolts, let it squeeze just a little bit, and then we're going to let it sit. That's the proper way that you're supposed to use the gasket maker, so that you're not squishing it all out. It actually creates the gasket, and then you can press it out. Okay, there was a little interlude because the battery died, so I did get the other cylinder head on and torqued down just like I did that one. So the exhaust cam's out. I need to put it in.
next time on Copenhagen Blue.
Oh, is it supposed to smoke?